The rain hammered against the window like a relentless accusation, each drop echoing the chaos in my chest. "Mary. This can't happen," Jane whispered, her voice cracking in the dim light of our Seattle living room. But her hand lingered on my cheek, warm and trembling, pulling me closer instead of pushing away. That was the moment, the hook that yanked me under, when I realized the line between admiration and desire had shattered. And the woman who'd been my mother's rock for a decade was now the storm tearing through my soul. It started innocently enough. Or so I told myself. Mom and Jane had been together since I was 15. Back when we moved from the bustling chaos of New York to the misty calm of the Pacific Northwest. Jane, with her sharp suits and that confident stride from years as a corporate lawyer in downtown Seattle, had stepped into our lives like a steady anchor. She was 42 now. Her dark hair streaked with silver that only made her more striking. Those green eyes always scanning the room like she was prepping for a deposition. Mom adored her, hell. The whole family did. Thanksgiving dinners at our cozy craftsman house in Capitol Hill were filled with laughter. The smell of roasted turkey mingling with Jane's signature apple pie. Baked from scratch because store-bought is for quitters, she'd say with that wry smile. I was 25. Fresh out of the University of Washington with a degree in journalism. Crashing back home while job hunting. Freelance gigs paid peanuts. So the spare room upstairs became my temporary haven. Mornings were my favorite, the aroma of fresh coffee wafting up. Jane humming old jazz tunes while flipping pancakes. She'd ruffle my hair like I was still a kid. But lately, her touch lingered a second too long. Or maybe I was imagining it. God. The confusion gnawed at me like the fog rolling in off Puget Sound. One evening, Mom was out late at her nursing shift at Harborview Medical Center, 12-hour marathons that left her exhausted. Jane and I sat on the worn leather couch, binge-watching some Netflix thriller. The kind with twisted plots that mirrored my own unraveling thoughts. The room smelled faintly of lavender from the diffuser Mom loved, masking the underlying tension. Jane stretched, her blouse riding up just enough to reveal a sliver of skin. And I felt it, a jolt. Electric and unwelcome. "You okay, kiddo?" she asked. Her voice soft. Like velvet over steel. I nodded. But my heart thudded like a bass drum in my ears. As the weeks dragged on, the mists of autumn turned Seattle into a watercolor painting. All grays and muted greens. I'd catch Jane watching me over breakfast. Her fork pausing midair. A sigh escaping her lips that sounded more like regret than contentment. "Mary, you've grown into such a strong woman," she'd say. Her words laced with something deeper. Unspoken. I started avoiding her eyes. Burying myself in job applications on my laptop. The click-clack of keys a feeble barrier against the pull I felt. Then came the night that changed everything. Mom had collapsed at work, exhaustion. The doctors said. But it felt like the universe conspiring. She was admitted for observation. Leaving Jane and me alone in the house that suddenly felt too small. Too charged. The drive back from the hospital was silent. Rain sluicing down the windshield of Jane's old Subaru. Wipers swishing like a metronome counting down to disaster. We got home. And Jane poured us both whiskey, neat. The way she liked it after tough cases. The amber liquid burned going down, matching the fire in my veins. We sat at the kitchen table. The one scarred from years of family meals. And talked. About Mom. About life. About the fears we both harbored. Jane's hand found mine across the wood. Her fingers intertwining with a gentleness that broke me. "She's going to be fine," she murmured. But her thumb traced circles on my skin, sending shivers up my arm. The air thickened, heavy with the scent of rain-soaked earth seeping through the cracked window. I leaned in. Or maybe she did, details blurred in the haze of emotion, and our lips met. Soft at first. Tentative. Then urgent. Like a dam bursting after years of pressure. Guilt crashed over me like a wave. Cold and suffocating. This was betrayal. Pure and simple. Jane pulled back. Her breath ragged. Eyes wide with horror. "Mary. No. This is wrong." But her body betrayed her words. Pressing closer. Her heartbeat thundering against mine. We stumbled upstairs. Clothes shedding like old skins. The creak of the floorboards amplifying every forbidden step. In my room, under the glow of the street lamp filtering through the blinds, we lost ourselves. Her touch was fire. Mapping territories I didn't know existed. Whispers of "I shouldn't" mingling with moans that echoed my own turmoil. Morning light pierced the curtains. Harsh and unforgiving. Jane lay beside me. Her face peaceful in sleep. But I felt like a thief in my own home. The coffee maker downstairs gurgled to life on its timer. A mundane sound that mocked the chaos we'd unleashed. I slipped out, heart pounding, and drove to the hospital. Mom looked frail in her bed, dripping steadily. But her smile lit up when she saw me. "Where's Jane?" she asked. Voice weak. The lie stuck in my throat, "She's handling some work stuff. Back home." Jane was waiting, eyes red-rimmed from unshed tears. "We can't do this to her," she said, voice breaking like glass. The kitchen smelled of burnt toast. She'd tried to eat. Failed. We argued in hushed tones, the weight of our secret pressing down. "It was a mistake," I insisted. But the words tasted like ash. Deep down, I knew it wasn't just lust, it was love. Twisted and real. Born from years of shared glances and unspoken bonds. Days blurred into a nightmare of avoidance. Mom came home, oblivious, her laughter filling the house again. But the tension simmered, a pot ready to boil over. One rainy afternoon, as thunder rumbled outside like distant artillery, Jane cornered me in the laundry room. The dryer hummed softly, warm air scented with fabric softener. "Mary, we need to talk," she said, her hand on my arm. Tears welled up. "I love your mom. But you've awakened something in me I can't ignore." The confession hung there, raw and exposed. I pulled away, chest heaving. "Then choose," I whispered, the words slicing through me. That night, over dinner, Mom's favorite lasagna. Steam rising like ghosts, Jane announced she needed space. "Work retreat," she lied smoothly. But her eyes flicked to mine, pleading. She left for a week, holing up in a cabin in the Olympic Peninsula, where the evergreens whispered secrets to the wind. I stayed with Mom, nursing her back to health. But my mind wandered to Jane, the way her laugh crinkled her eyes. The strength in her embrace. Texts came sporadically, "Thinking of you. This hurts." The distance clarified things, what we felt was real. But pursuing it would destroy the family we'd built. When Jane returned, tanned from hikes and clear-eyed, we met in the backyard under a rare Seattle sun. Birds chirped overhead, the grass damp underfoot. "I can't leave her," she said softly, taking my hand one last time. "But I won't forget us." Tears streamed down my face, hot and silent. "Me neither," I replied, voice barely a whisper. In the end, we chose sacrifice. Jane stayed with Mom, their love rekindled through the scare. I moved out, landing a job at a local paper. My own apartment in Belltown, a fresh start. The pain lingered, a dull ache. But it taught me about boundaries, about the messy beauty of human hearts. Sometimes, love means letting go, not with fireworks, but with a quiet sigh into the night. And in that release, I found a deeper peace, one that honored us all.